10-minute speech. Embody your speech. Andrew Salisbury, embody your speech.
Thank you, sir. You've been introduced. Audience, 200 tech executives, nerds, and media. They stare at you somewhere between aggression, the instincts of piranha, and total boredom. You're ready to launch into one of the major presentations you've ever made. You reach down for that opening line. You got nothing. There's this deep, empty hollow inside of you. What rises up? The theme song to the movie Bad Boys. Bad boys, what you gonna do when they come for you? Unfortunately, appropriate as this is for an oracle presentation, and the group of pirates you happen to be leading, and it's a movie that you've been pirating for the last 6 months as part of your video streaming test, it is not, in fact, the first line of your speech. What you gonna do? They're gonna come for you. The ancient Greeks had a system called memory palaces. Homer used it to remember the 4,000 verses that made up the Iliad and the Odyssey. Could you remember 4,000 verses? What he would do is visualize one of the palaces of the kings. And he would, in his mind, walk from room to room. In each room, there would be columns and vases and various pieces of furniture, each of which would have content attached to it. And thus, he could reproduce it, and he could reproduce it starting at any point. So if he starts in this room, that's where he would start. Clever technique. I lack a palace. I use my own physical form as the memory palace. Top of my head, title of the speech. My eyes, the change I want to see in my audience. Mouth, that opening line. Shoulders, the components of the speech that I need to memorize. The nice thing about this is you've got a lot of components. You can break it down, fingers, digits, but it's all attached. The heart, what's something that they're going to feel? What's something that they are curious about? Stomach, filling them up. Give them some good stuff to go away with. Middle, skip over that. Legs, review the content. Often the third time you tell them. Contents. Knees, give them a little change of direction. Get that curiosity working. Feet, your launch, your call to action. Off the stage you go. Now there I am, bad boys playing in my head. What you gonna do? Second technique to think about. I use what's called box breathing. I breathe in for 10 seconds, hold for 10 seconds, breathe out for 10 seconds, hold for 10 seconds. Puts a nice box of safety around me, gives me 40 seconds in which to replay the speech, and it causes the audience to actually catch up with where you are and lean in. You want your audience leaning in. So I played the box breath. I went to my mouth and I gave the opening part of the speech. Whenever a garbage truck backs up, some media person asks a rude question, someone collapses in disdain at your speech, how are you going to recover? Box breath. What part have I already done? That tells me what part I'm going to do next. Now, how do I create a speech so that I can inhabit it like this? I have a system. This cute little box has evolved over 20 years in many different boxes. This is today's speech. that was more material. And unboxed reading. This little package is blank cards and a little bit of framework. So I sit in a coffee shop, for some reason that seems to work really well for me, with a stack of blank cards. Kind of know what I'm going to talk about. And I begin scribbling on 3x5 cards. Not in any order, just whatever comes to me. It's a quip, it's a pun, it's a joke, it's a factoid, it's something I looked up on Google. Just keep writing, many as you can, till you're basically empty. I've used up everything I got. Then you take the framework and you begin to put the cards into the framework. Now you notice in the card deck there's two that start, which are keep in mind. Those are ideas that I want in every speech, that are the center elements of how I like to talk. Then you'll see a framework in which there's my body represented. So I start taking cards and I write down, where does this idea fit in the framework? Realize I don't have an opening line. I'm going to need an opening line. I'm going to need something to say on my way out the door. Either have those cards already, or at least I know where the holes are. So that system has survived. I have literally hundreds of speeches with rubber bands around them, some of which the rubber bands have aged and thrown away. It's usually a clue to me that whatever that was about, probably no good, I can toss it. To review, you need a system. It needs to be solid, it needs to be reliable, and it needs to be fault tolerant. People are going to interrupt you. Garbage trucks are going to back up and begin beeping in the middle of your speech. What you gonna do? You don't need my system. You need your own system. You're welcome to steal whatever you want out of my ideas, but they're mine, custom made for me. They're not gonna fit you. You may want to sing the entire speech in your head, if that helps. I don't know, but you need a system and it needs to be fault tolerant. What are you gonna do when they come for you, bad boys? I'd like to quote James Clear, Atomic Habits, PhD researcher in systems and habits. You will not rise to your goals. You will fall to your system.